I love racing games, really of any type, whether it be iRacing or Mario Kart. I've always loved motor racing in general. I remember playing Viper 2000 with my dad on a joystick and a crappy old Windows 98 computer, playing Crash Bandicoot on the PS1, Double Dash on the GameCube, Split Second, F1 Series, Blur, Motorboat Extreme at the arcade, you name it. So naturally, while having a conversation with some of my friends, I got recommended to Circuit Superstars. I didn't think much of it at first, besides the charming art style and the fact that it was a top-down view just like 64 games like it. However, my friends insisted that I give it a shot, so I bought it and booted it up. Immediately, I was greeted with an absolutely banging soundtrack and a very pleasing aesthetic menu. So I booted up a practice and tried to see what I was dealing with. Sunnyside Park was the first track on the list and it looks pretty simple. Let's give it a shot. I picked the default car recommended to me. It looked like a generic rally car, but there were many other options, 15 in fact, from F1 to super trucks, but I will touch on that later. As soon as I pressed the up arrow, I was greeted with the amazing sound of the engine and the tires squealing as I went full throttle. The first thing that struck me was the sound design. I cannot emphasize how good this game sounds. The different engines, the tires, the low cones that you hit on the corners, and the curves. Oh my god, the curve sound is like a massage for your brain. The second thing I noticed right away, as the first turn approached at a very rapid pace, was the physics, and instantly I knew that this was not going to be an easy, forgiving arcade racer. The physics in this game are solid, to be honest. I think they might be up there with the big titles. Of course, this is still an arcade game and not in a simulator, but it sure does feel like one. The car has weight to it, and your tires spin if you get into a turn too fast. Losing grip, acceleration when coming out of a turn is crucial. You need to reduce your steering input as little as possible on the straights to get the maximum speed, but also you can't go into every turn full throttle because you will end up in the wall. Oh, and yes, you will end up in the wall many times. The really precise inputs that you need are easy to understand, but also so hard to apply when you're racing door to door and fighting for every position. Hitting every apex at the correct speed and angle to maximize your exit to just get far enough of your opponent or your ghost is crucial. But with enough practice, you can get very consistent. Well, that is until you add the fact that you need to learn this for every single car in the game. And the cherry on top, if doing all that wasn't hard enough, here are a couple other things that you need to keep in mind. 1. Pit stops. Yes, you need to strategize when to go into the pits and when it is best for you. This includes tires and fuel. Leading into that, you have tire degradation. This will absolutely impact the performance of your car and will make hitting those apexes a lot harder if your tires are worn. Fuel, well, obviously you don't want to run out of fuel, do you? And lastly, the AI. The AI in this game is good, like really good, and will fight you tooth and nail all the time. Now, for a silly looking arcade game, all these physics and pit stops really come out of nowhere and slap you in the face, saying, "This ain't a joke, this is real racing." Okay, but that's all good and fine, but what kind of racing are we talking about here? What are the tracks? What kind of cars can you drive? And what is there to do? Well, let's take a look. You have the following 14 cars. The Agitator, a Dakar-style super truck. The Brusso, a Shelby Kroger 60s inspired car. The Osprey, an old 50s inspired F1 car. The Mantra, an old 80s inspired F1 car. The Pacino, a race Fiat 500. The Bonk, a super truck. The Storm, a modern F1 car. The Panther, a modern GT car. The Conquest, a Le Mans type car. The Vost, a modern rally car. The Tubular, a dirt sprint car. The Impact, a modern NASCAR. The Feather, a British race car. The Road Rebel, a kind of supercar. The Loose Cannon, an old school American muscle car. These cars all handle pretty differently for the most part, with some having four-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or rear-wheel drive. They also handle differently in terms of weight, with lighter cars sliding a bit more and the heavier ones being, well, heavier. So as you can see, there's most certainly a car for everyone in this game. And as far as the tracks go, they are also very varied. There are 18 tracks total. Now that doesn't include the variations in which most of these tracks having a reverse layout for you to race on, but also many of these tracks having sub-tracks within them, like Buffalo Hill, for example, having Rallycross, Club, and Mini. Now, as I mentioned before, the AI is nothing to joke around with here, and it will punish you every chance it gets. And man, is it satisfying to just keep at it and finally beat them. They will hold a racing line, some will get better exits than others as they fight with you and the other AI. I sometimes find myself having to be overly aggressive to get past them, but that is probably just because I'm just terrible. Now, a big issue with racing games, in my personal opinion, is rubber banding. Now, if you don't know what rubber banding, well, let me explain what that is real quick. See, rubber banding in racing games is when the AI speeds up if you're getting too close, but also will slow down to let you catch up. The official definition I could find online is as follows. Feature of an artificial intelligence found in racing titles that is designed to prevent players from getting too far ahead of a computer-controlled opponent or too close. Some games are terrible as this, just as the Need for Speed series and the Forza series. Now, in this game, I didn't see this problem. Well, maybe it was just done better than other games, but the AI will leave you in the dust, and on the opposite end, if you just want to smoke them, you can. Which, in my opinion, is a good thing, because although I understand the concept of rubber band AI, I also feel that it's not usually done well. I do want to focus and talk about the art style of this game because I think that it's just gorgeous. Now, obviously, the graphics is not photorealistic like Forza, but more cartoonish, which in my opinion fits the game perfectly. You know, artistically, this game reminds me a lot of the Art of Rally game that came out a few years ago. I don't know if there's something about the vibrant color palette and the lighting that makes it pop. I just love the look of it. I mean, car models are simple and minimalistic, but portray their real-world counterparts perfectly and instantly make you say, yes, that clearly is an F1 car. The different liveries you can have are limited, but you can edit them enough to make them distinct and you never really lose your car in the mayhem of a race. The tracks also look good and are easy to follow, with each turn choreographed well enough that with practice they are not just jump scares that come out of nowhere. And the HUD is simple yet effective. No crazy UI elements all over the place, just simple to understand information that is easy to find but also easily disappears when focusing on the next apex. All in all, this is just a short review or impressions video of one of the best casual racing titles out there that is affordable, and the right amount of challenge to keep me entertained for a good while at least. I'm sure I missed a couple things here and there, but overall I love this game and I wanted to get it out there. And I think it deserves more attention. Even if you wait for a Steam sale, if you are at all interested in racing, I would pick it up and I'm sure you won't regret it. I hope you have a good day. Hit that subscribe button, like it if you liked any part of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.